savage Africa. The brutal life and death cycle of African lions dawn spreads across the grasslands of the Serengeti. And reveals an ecosystem that remains under constant pressure. Every movement carries risk. Every sound can signal pursuit or being pursued. This is a landscape where massive elephant herds, giraffes rising above the tree line, and antelope move in rhythm with the dry and wet seasons. Alongside this abundance exists another ecological layer. Leopards remain concealed deep within dense vegetation. Hyenas patrol the edges of the grassland. At the center of the hunting chain stands the African lion Panthera leo, the apex predator holding absolute dominance over this savannah. And early maturity. Multiple old scars are visible across the body as evidence of past direct confrontations. The territory under his control covers nearly 4 square miles, which is sufficient to secure food resources for the pride and to limit intrusion by rival males. The pride currently consists of 5 adult females and 7 cubs. Group survival depends directly on the defensive capability of the male. Within the pride's structure, female lions perform the hunting. They coordinate in groups using ambush and separation tactics, repeated across many generations. The male rarely participates in hunts. His primary role is territorial control and defense. He patrols the boundary daily and marks the area using scent and claw marks on tree trunks to warn rivals. When necessary, a roar is produced and carries across several miles to establish clear presence. From the territorial boundary, 2 young male lions enter an area outside their control. At the center of the region, the resident male is forced to respond. Avoidance would result in the loss of land, the females, and the entire structure maintained over many years. When unfamiliar males cross the boundary, the existing order can only be preserved through direct physical engagement. The two young males do not pursue. The objective is achieved: territorial control and access to the females. The displaced male is forced to leave the secure zone. Without pride's support, hunting efficiency declines sharply. Strategy must shift. Smaller prey scavenged carcasses, increased movement, and reduced rest. Early morning light gradually spreads across the savannah. Terrain features begin to become visible. Within tall grass, female lions separate formation and move low and slow. Each step uses available natural cover. Distance to the target is reduced without producing unnecessary movement. When distance is breached, the chase occurs within a very short time span. The scent of blood spreads rapidly through the hot savannah air. This serves as a clear signal to spotted hyenas. From several miles away, they identify the food source using highly developed olfactory capability. They approach the carcass using continuous pressure tactics. Movement occurs along the outer perimeter while creating disturbance and waiting for the appropriate moment to enter the central area. The target is not the prey. The target is access to the protein source that has just been brought down. Conflicts of this type occur frequently across the savannah. Scavenging and prey theft are not exceptional behaviors. They represent a stable component of the ecological chain. Dawn covers the Serengeti savannah as it enters the dry season. Small changes in temperature and humidity trigger massive collective movement. More than 2 million individuals across multiple species begin the longest migration of the year. This is not only a search for new grass. It functions as an ecological regulation mechanism, including food distribution, seed dispersal, and nutrient redistribution. The starting point lies in the southern Serengeti, where fresh grass gradually dries. Wildebeest respond first and gather into a moving flow without a leading individual. The movement formation gradually stabilizes across the savannah. Zebras move at the front and wildebeest follow in multiple layers. This structure allows the migration to maintain a steady rhythm as scale increases. The massive herbivore group quickly produces a chain reaction. Predator species concentrate toward the migration route. Lions, leopards, and hyenas follow from a distance while waiting for suitable timing. The herd perimeter carries the highest risk, where young, weak, or separated individuals are more likely to be targeted. However, the success rate of predation remains very low. When herd size becomes extremely large, tracking and target selection are diluted. Noise, dust, and synchronized movement reduce hunting efficiency. Hyenas choose prolonged pursuit and coordinate to exhaust prey. No effort exists to halt the entire migration flow. The herd continues forward almost continuously and leaves only minor gaps. This represents a stable equilibrium where predation, pressure, and herd scale coexist and maintain ecosystem function. As the migration advances northward, conditions become harsher. Surface water diminishes rapidly and daytime temperatures exceed 104 Fahrenheit and require reliance on endurance. Wildebeest possess strong thermoregulation ability and sustain movement for many hours without water and reduce dependence on dangerous drinking sites. Young individuals are kept at the center of the formation, while adults surround them to maintain pace and limit separation. Across generations, fixed trails form on the savannah and mark repeated seasonal migration routes. The herd continues forward and sustains an ancient biological flow. The migration route is blocked by the Mara River, which represents the most dangerous barrier along the journey. The river is wide, deep and fast-flowing and causes the wildebeest herd to stop at the riverbank. Ground space fills rapidly. Below exists a constant threat. Nile crocodiles remain concealed near the river bottom and appear nearly invisible in turbid water. The transition moment occurs suddenly. A chain reaction follows immediately. Pressure from behind pushes the entire migration mass into the river. Strong currents divert many individuals, and weaker animals struggle to maintain balance. Crocodiles strike rapidly and target isolated individuals. However, due to extremely high density, the proportion of individuals taken remains small. Most of the herd completes the crossing successfully. When the opposite bank becomes crowded, movement stabilizes again. The most dangerous obstacle has passed, and the journey continues without disrupting migration rhythm. When the migration reaches the Masai Mara grasslands, the environment changes immediately. Early seasonal rains revive dry soil, and fresh green grass grows rapidly and provides protein-rich food sources. As a result, individuals recover physical condition quickly after the long journey and the dangerous river crossing. Zebras and wildebeest exploit the grassland through a complementary mechanism. Zebras graze older grass at the surface, while wildebeest access younger grass beneath. This method allows efficient use of grassland while preserving regenerative capacity. Calves born during the previous rainy season are now strong enough to follow the herd and improve formation stability. The Masai Mara becomes a temporary stop for energy accumulation. When rainfall decreases and grass color changes, the herd regroups and activates the return journey southward and continues the biological cycle that sustains the savannah across generations. When the dry season extends, rivers and waterholes become mandatory convergence points for many species. Water sources sustain life, but simultaneously compress safe space and sharply increase collision and predation risk. A pack of African wild dogs approaches the river edge in a dispersed formation and communicates using short signals. Coordinated ability allows rapid transition from movement to pursuit within seconds. Below the surface, crocodiles remain motionless near the bottom and expose only eyes and nostrils. They wait for moments when prey loses awareness to deliver rapid strikes. All species that drink water face the same problem. Stopping too long increases risk, while drinking too quickly fails to meet physiological demand. Behavior must be optimized within very short time. Despite clear awareness of danger, no species can avoid water sources for extended periods. Survival forces acceptance of controlled risk, where minor deviation produces immediate consequences. When grass becomes depleted, river crossing becomes mandatory. This phase represents the highest risk period of the annual cycle. Crocodiles occupy key positions, while strong currents pose special danger to young, old, or weakened individuals. Maintaining stable swimming direction requires endurance and precise reflex control. The moment of water entry occurs suddenly. One individual enters and pulls the mass behind. High density reduces individual maneuverability, but increases crossing success through collective pressure. Each river crossing acts as a severe filtering process. Individuals capable of continuing proceed, while the remainder are removed from the migration flow. This cycle repeats seasonally and directly shapes population, structure, and adaptive capacity across species. The surface of the Mara River appears calm, and water flow is slow and conceals threats near the bottom. Along a moist sandbank, a crocodile egg nest lies exposed and positioned directly at the water edge. This signal is detected rapidly. A pack of African wild dogs approaches from upstream. Dog muzzles seize eggs, crush them, and pull them from the nest. The activity is chaotic but brief and matches opportunistic feeding behavior. Rising temperature hardens the ground surface. Below ground, tree root networks retain moisture and maintain subsurface water flow that sustains grass throughout the dry season. At deeper layers, insects continuously decompose plant remains and return nutrients to the soil and support rapid savanna recovery after natural fires. Honey badgers shelter within cool and moist tunnels and simultaneously create habitat for many other small species and form a survival network beneath the dry surface. Climate change is extending dry seasons and forces herds to travel farther and increases survival pressure. Despite these changes, older cycles still adjust slowly and continue. As sunset arrives, the savanna settles briefly and accumulates energy for the next challenge cycle. Dawn spreads golden light across the vast savanna. The surface appears still but quickly enters high-intensity operation as temperature rises. In open terrain with few obstacles and long visibility, every movement is easily detected. Prey must maintain constant vigilance, while predators are forced to shorten approach time and deliver precise strikes on the first attempt. Speed and reflex response become decisive factors for survival opportunity. Life rhythm shifts with seasons. The rainy season brings fresh grass, soft ground, and high animal density, and increases unexpected encounters and pursuits. The dry season extends travel distance and makes endurance and focus critical. On this exposed land, no individual can afford slowness or inattention. Speed is no longer an advantage. Speed becomes a survival requirement, repeated daily under the same sunrise. The Thompson gazelle is among the smallest herbivores on the open savanna, with an average body mass of about 44 pounds. The body is compact, with a narrow chest and long, slender limbs. A developed tendon system stores and releases energy efficiently. Flexible joints allow rapid direction changes at high speed. With this structure, the gazelle can exceed 37 miles per hour after only a few short strides. Instant acceleration capability becomes the decisive factor during critical situations. The survival strategy of this species relies entirely on movement. The species does not possess large horns for confrontation. The species lacks sufficient mass to withstand collision. When approached, the only option is running. Rapid acceleration creates initial distance. This is followed by continuous direction changes that disrupt pursuit trajectory. If forced into confined space or momentum is lost, escape probability declines sharply. For this reason, Thompson gazelles rarely remain in areas with obstructed visibility. The sensory system plays a central role. Eyes positioned on opposite sides of the head expand the visual field and allow detection of small movement at long distance. Selection of elevated open terrain is not accidental. Open ground enables early observation and creates reaction advantage before danger approaches. In small herds, vigilance is maintained continuously. Individuals raise their heads frequently and scan the horizon rapidly. When one individual detects anomaly, the entire group immediately changes direction or accelerates. No delay is tolerated. For the Thomson gazelle, speed is not only movement capability. Speed represents the survival foundation shaped across many evolutionary generations. The cheetah is the fastest land carnivore. The body is slender and lightweight and optimized for acceleration. An extremely flexible spine allows maximum stride extension during each running cycle. During acceleration, the rear limbs generate force, while the front limbs extend forward and create continuous elastic-like motion. Claws retract only partially and maintain ground contact and increase traction during direction change at very high speed. The limitation of this system lies in duration. Sprint mechanics consume anaerobic energy at extremely high rate. Before running, the cheetah spends most time observing. The approach remains low, and distance is maintained to avoid early detection. Attack angle is selected to limit escape routes. All movements are monitored, including step rhythm, head direction, and open space ahead. Only when the target enters optimal position is acceleration initiated. The ostrich is the largest bird currently living on land. Body height can exceed 8.2 feet. Body mass is concentrated in the torso, while all locomotion capability is carried by long and powerful legs. Dense bone structure, large tendons, and flexible knee joints allow each stride to extend nearly 16 feet. When moving at high speed, the ostrich maintains a stable running rhythm over long distances without abrupt stops. Leg muscle systems are optimized for endurance and allow prolonged travel across wide open plains. Vision is the most important defensive layer. The ostrich possesses the largest eyes among land-living animals. Elevated head position combined with wide visual range allows very early movement detection. When risk appears, response occurs almost instantly. The ostrich survival strategy relies on early detection, distance, maintenance, and continuous movement across open terrain. Meerkats maintain safety through collective observation. Several individuals leave the group and climb soil mounds or low rock outcrops. An upright posture expands visual coverage across open ground. Ears rotate continuously. Eyes scan grass movement, cloud shadows, and low-flying birds in repeated sweeps. Guard duty rotates in short intervals and reduces energy cost while maintaining stable vigilance for the entire group. A single unusual signal triggers immediate response. A short, high-pitched alarm sound spreads rapidly. Other individuals stop foraging and move toward burrows or shift direction simultaneously. The warning mechanism relies on rapid information transfer and wide visual coverage. Direct contact is not required. Precise predator identification is not required. Early detection and timely withdrawal are sufficient. As a result, overall population survival rate increases significantly in open environments where natural cover is minimal. Hunger forces the leopard to adjust prey selection. Instead of smaller prey, attention shifts toward a larger target. An adult ostrich moves across open ground. Large body mass is present, Stride length is extensive. This choice carries high risk, but offers energy sufficient for several days. Distance is reduced slowly. The leopard does not sprint immediately. Every movement is calculated. The ostrich detects danger and accelerates. Powerful legs strike the ground and generate long, stable running rhythm. The chase does not extend in duration. The leopard understands its physical limits. Sunset spreads across the grassland and covers the ground with muted golden light. Temperature gradually declines. Species that rely on speed disperse and select familiar resting positions after a demanding day. The cycle does not stop. Each day repeats with the same structure. Movement, observation, pursuit, escape. There is no clear beginning and no absolute ending. Only brief pauses appear between bursts of speed. Across open grassland, calm always exists alongside risk. The water surface appears calm, but control exists entirely below. Hippopotamuses occupy critical river sections where all movement is closely monitored. Narrow space and limited visibility turn water into a dangerous zone for any species approaching too closely. Underwater mobility provides a critical advantage. Hippopotamuses do not float passively like many other species. They keep heavy bodies close to the riverbed and use their legs to push forward in measured steps and can even accelerate across muddy substrate. In this environment, body mass becomes an advantage. Any collision occurs at close range, where delayed reaction is measured in fractions of a second. The calm river therefore always conceals risk, especially within territory controlled by a dominant species. A zebra herd slows at the water edge. Current flow applies continuous pressure. Thirst accumulates. Individuals from behind compress forward and reduce available choice space. Disturbance immediately triggers response from below. A male hippopotamus surges upward from deep water. This action serves territorial defense. At a narrow river section, a wildebeest individual falls behind. A single delayed reflex is sufficient. A crocodile surges upward from the riverbed and closes jaws at extremely short distance. A rotational maneuver occurs immediately and pulls the prey into deep water. Above, the migrating herd continues forward in an endless formation. No interruption occurs. The gap left by the lost individual is rapidly filled by movement from behind. In large-scale migration, each individual represents only a component of the whole. Life and loss occur simultaneously and do not slow journey pace. River crossings continue with successive herds passing through dangerous zones. Natural order operates continuously and does not pause for any moment. Each species holds a distinct role without overlap. Lions directly regulate herbivore population density and prevent numerical overexpansion. Hippopotamuses control freshwater space and alter water flow, riverbanks, and habitats for many other species. Crocodiles remove weaker individuals during river crossings and maintain population movement through natural selection. On land, cheetahs force prey species to increase movement speed across generations. Antelope respond through speed, agility, and vigilance. Honey badgers influence lower biological layers from insects to small animals and maintain base structure stability. Zebras and wildebeest migrate continuously and cut grass, compact soil and disperse seeds and enable grassland regeneration after each dry season. No link exists outside this cycle. When one row weakens, the entire system oscillates. Dawn initiates a new activity cycle. Dusk closes what cannot persist. All movement repeats, but never replicates the previous day exactly. Between predation, pressure, water scarcity, and territorial competition, life maintains its rhythm. There is no peace. There is no randomness. There exists only a continuous flow where survival is determined by adaptive capacity and existence remains bound to the harsh order of nature.